Welcome to Exploring the Paranormal. Hosted by Heather Leigh, PhD, Exploring the Paranormal offers a new, fresh look into paranormal research. Join Heather as she discusses some of the many haunted locations worldwide, discusses why these locations are haunted, hear from paranormal researchers about their personal experiences at these locations. Additionally, Heather takes a journey into the science behind the paranormal, discussing topics such as thermodynamics and the Heisenberg principle, and how they both affect paranormal activity. Now, your host of Exploring the Paranormal, Dr. Heather Leigh.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am super excited. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Today is going to be an exciting day. I'm looking forward to my special guest. You guys know him as the producer and show owner of WLTK DB Talk Radio, Todd Bates, and author as well. We're going to be talking about his books and a whole bunch of other stuff. And good morning, Lee. I see you're here already. Welcome to the show. What things do you look at under a paranormal things do you look at? Oh, geez. When it comes to paranormal, I look at everything closely under the microscope. Mostly, you want to dive deep, look, it's getting a more inside look. I mean, there are so many different things. And what we really need to start doing is when it comes to the physics aspect of it is come up with different methods in a more literal term of looking at it under the microscope or an actual term of doing it. It's so hard because it's something that we can't feel, touch, or anything like that. And that's what we really need to, and I'm going to need to come up with a better answer for that, but I will definitely remember that. And, but yeah, everything in this paranormal field, anything we do needs to, the microscope in the beginning of the podcast, talk to Todd about that. I think it's more for a scientific method, and view of everything. So yeah, we'll talk to him about that. But yeah, I mean, and you think about it, you kind of you do look at things under a microscope, not a literal microscope. But we really, I wish we could do that. Could you imagine getting the residue like they have ectoplasm in Ghostbusters? Could you imagine getting that and looking at that underneath the microscope? But yeah, that would be, that would totally change this field. Definitely something to look more into. Thank you for bringing that up, Lee. But yeah, those of you watching the show, welcome. Feel free to ask any questions you have. You can ask them now. You can ask them later when the guest is on. We will make sure that we get your answers covered. We have a lot of different things that we would like to talk about. No real show agenda today. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I know before the show we were chatting about the possibilities, talking about paradrama and kind of how to bring the field closer together. So we'll be talking about that. And then, of course, we'll be talking about his book, The Haunted Voice. So we'll be doing that. Actually, I'm still working my way through it. I don't have as much time to read as I had hoped, but the parts I've read so far are really good, and you guys need to get your hands on that. So we will also mention how to do that. Good news, Haunted Southern Nevada Ghost Towns is back in Amazon. You can order it from there and have it shipped directly to you. You could also go to Arcadia Publishing and order it as well. And I do have I have 4 copies of that one left, if anyone wants an autographed copy of that one. And then Ghost and Legends of the Vegas Valley is also available. And I have 1 copy left of that one. If you want an autographed copy, just reach out and let me know. Haunted Florida Lighthouses, I do have a wait list for people. I'm going to be sending invoices out in mid to late August, and that will be released September 11th. So stay tuned for that. If you want to get on the wait list for an autographed copy, let me know. If not, Amazon is already taking pre-orders for the book. So you can do that. And then later this year or early next year, I don't have a date yet, but Haunted Florida Ghost Towns will be out. And I am actually almost done with that book. I'm going somewhere this weekend to take some final photos, and I have 2 chapters left to write, and that is going to be an exciting book. And then you guys know I'm working on other books in that series for theme parks, roadside attractions, and Civil War sites. So stay tuned for updates on that. Ghost Education 101, we are going to have a fun show tomorrow. My co-host will not be joining me because I just found out he's not feeling too well and he's under the weather, but I will be joined by special guest Blake Best. He is an author, actor, composer, you name it, he does it, and he's going to be on for a fun show just to talk about his experiences. And we might not even talk about the paranormal. We just wanted to make it a fun show because it's the day after 4th, and we usually get a dip in viewers, so we just kind of wanted to fill the time and provide you guys with something entertaining and give you a break from the paranormal. Motion picture video is Real Haunts Ghost Towns and Real Haunts 3, and stay tuned. There are more work projects with them in the works, so make sure you keep an eye on my page for information like that. And then Ghost Adventures Lake of Death. I get so many people messaging me about this. It's kind of interesting because a lot of people want to know, the ins and outs of it, which some of the stuff I can't share, but some of it I can. And it was a fun experience. I do wish I was able to fly out and talk to them. But thank you guys who have messaged me and said that you've seen that episode. It is available on Max and Discovery Plus right now. And of course, we have Passports to the Paranormal Thursday nights with Joe Frankie and myself, 10 p.m. Eastern. And this week, we are going to be talking about lighthouses. You guys know the Haunted Lighthouse book I wrote, and Joe is a lighthouse enthusiast, and he wrote the foreword to my book. So we're going to just kind of sit back and talk about lighthouses. And then I do have a few more things to talk about before I bring Todd on. I know I'm going through my list very quickly today, and going through things. But if you want to support the show, I have levels starting at $5, $25, and $50. They include behind the scenes, advance notice of events. If you attend an event that I'm attending, you get a free gift. If you're a member for 6 months or more at a certain level, you'll get a free gift. I have levels that include shamanic life coaching and levels that include sponsoring this show, where you get shout outs on this show as well as shout outs on our social media. So make sure you check that out. I do have the links on my website and on my Facebook page at Dr. Heather Leigh. So make sure you check that out. And then I'm also going to be making an announcement today about an event that I'm going to be attending in September. So how I'm going to be doing Patreon is you'll get the event announcement about a week before everyone else will. And that kind of gives you the advance information to get your tickets and get everything that you want to do to go. And I will also be doing advance posting of videos. I'm in the process of making different videos similar to what I did for Henderson Libraries. They're short, quick, 3 to 5 minute videos about different haunted locations. Those will be posted first on Patreon, as well as evidence that we've captured. And then they'll go live to everyone publicly about a week or 2 later. Depending on the topic or subject, it might even be a month later. So make sure you sign up for the Patreon to get that advance notice and be the first to see different things that we're working on. Oh, and I also share different chapters of works in progress. Will be on there as well, so you can catch those. Registration has finally opened for my TMCC courses. Absolutely, I'm super excited. September 25th is the ABCs of Paranormal Research. October 9th is Ghost Hunting 101. So make sure you do that. And then I did receive an email from someone. She didn't want her name to be known, so I'm not going to say that out of respect to her, but she did send me a message saying, "Hey, Heather, I hear you talk about the Witches Paranormal Society. What is that?" Well, good news. It had been on hold because of the move, and then my partner, she got kind of sick, but we're diving in. We talked last week. We are going to be registering it as a business. We're going to be making a huge announcement, probably end of this month, early August, because this fall we're going to be officially launching it. It's going to be a whole bunch of different things. It's going to have its own little mini university where you can sign up for classes and learn from us. It's going to have certification programs for training, which is on the latest paranormal research. We're going to have memberships where you can get regular training classes and one-on-one help from both Marissa and I. And then we're also going to be doing events. So there's so many different aspects of this, but it is going to be amazing. So make sure you stay tuned if you're interested in that. Like I said, I'll keep you guys updated here the best I can, but we are going to be doing a live announcement, like I said, We're trying to get everything in order before we do that. So I would say sometime in August, expect that announcement, and we'll be launching officially probably in October. So make sure you guys stay tuned. But since I really don't have much else to talk about, and I've gone through everything that I usually do talk about, oh, real quick, next week I am taking the week off because my mom and I are attending a metaphysical fair here in Florida. And then when I return on July 18th, Jeff Schlachter will be joining me. We'll probably be, knowing Jeff and I will probably be talking about a whole bunch of different things. Jeff usually likes to talk about the technical side of the paranormal, analyzing evidence. Heck, he wasn't on my orb show for Ghost Hunt or Ghost Education 101. So I might throw some of those orb photos and videos that people shared with us and see what he has to say. But he's great at analyzing evidence. So if you guys have any questions about analyzing anything from an investigation on the technical side, Jeff's the one to ask. So in 2 weeks from today, make sure you guys join us and talk about that. So with that being said, I am going to welcome Todd to the show. I know he's backstage somewhere.
Good morning. Happy 4th of July.
Morning. Happy 4th of July. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. Yeah.
I like how we're both wearing red. We'll talk about the elephant in the room. We didn't talk before the show either.
Right. Shh. No. But yeah, I'm super excited about today. I found it funny that I'm the only show on today.
It happens.
I know.
It's host choice.
Exactly.
And it seems like the later the day gets, it's now we got to go stand in line for fireworks, or we've got to get a good seat so everybody wants to leave early.
Yeah. We got fired. We just went to our Publix, our grocery store, and picked up sparklers, because in an apartment complex we really can't use fireworks. So we got sparklers and stuff like that. And then we went yesterday was our town's fireworks celebration. But they had a food truck rally. So we went for the food truck rally and then came home because our dog can't stand fireworks and we didn't want her panicking alone.
Oh, food trucks.
Yes.
I miss those so much. We don't have those around here.
Oh, our town does every Thursday, or not every Thursday, the second Thursday of the month, they do a food truck rally. And then when they have special events at the park, they do a food truck rally with the park.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Their food is usually so good.
It is, yeah.
It's amazing.
The boys was a hot dog truck that had everything from Chicago hot dogs to New York hot dogs. So they ate there and they loved it. The all beef hot dogs, they loved them. And I went to, there was a crab truck and they had New Orleans baked crab cakes.
Oh.
With Cajun shrimp.
Gotta go.
It was so good.
The last time I had a food truck it was an Indian food truck, and I was introduced to the food. It was curry and this bread, like it was called naan, I think, and it was so good.
Ooh.
I couldn't believe it. I said, "This comes out of a truck." It's amazing.
Yep. And then, the food they have so many, and I think there was like 30 food trucks there yesterday.
Wow.
Just because our downtown area is a square with the park in the center of the square, and they just wrap them around and shut off the entire downtown area. And then our favorite place to go is, it used to be called Got Candy, but now they do more than just candy. They're called Got Desserts. And they actually even have a store here in town. And I knew her before we even moved to Vegas. I knew the owner. And we went there yesterday, and they give you an ice cream cake. And it's actually like a loaf pan that you can take. And it's like cookies and cream ice cream topped with whipped cream and then sprinkles. And it's really good.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
I know. And Aiden, he got cherry covered cheesecake. It was like a hard cherry shell over the cheesecake. And then they had cupcakes injected with ice cream. We also got
injected with ice cream.
Yes. It was like, that was like the first truck we saw when we got there, but it was the truck on the way out as we were leaving. So it's like we got to stop there on the way out.
That's genius.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a money-making machine right there.
Yeah, and their prices are great. Like that cake, I mean, it's literally like this big. It's like what you would put a little loaf of bread in to bake. And that was only like $6.
That's not bad at all.
Aiden's cheesecake was $3 and the cupcake was $3.
That is
Yeah.
beyond affordable.
Right. Compared to, I think my crab cake, my one little lonely crab cake was $20.
Yeah, that's gonna get more pricey.
Right.
A crab food truck though.
Yeah.
That's unheard.
Oh.
We have to drive probably 2.5 hours to get anywhere near a food truck.
Mm-hmm. No, our food trucks, it's big down here. And it was big in Vegas too. But here, if you follow the different food trucks, they'll say, okay, we're going to be at such and such parking lot. They go to different businesses. So that way they can be there for lunchtime for the employees, but they let everyone else know where they're at too. So everybody could go.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. And our apartment complex brings in a food truck once a week.
That's pretty cool. So it's all GPS probably, and you just go to it. You just follow your favorite food truck.
Right. Yeah. It's
tailgate them.
Yeah. And I wish they were there, but there is a coffee food truck too.
Oh,
that does specialty coffees and frozen coffees, and but it wasn't there yesterday.
Coffee beans. Oh my goodness. The whole 9 yards. They do all the fancy stuff. Chocolate covered espresso beans and
yes.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. There was one place in Vegas. It was a new spot and I can't remember, but whenever you ordered a coffee, they would put a chocolate covered espresso bean on the top of your lid.
Oh.
With every beverage purchase you got.
See,
and Aiden never ate it, so I get two.
I get two. I love those things.
Yes. Yeah. And this place was, and it was dark chocolate.
And a funny story behind them real quick. My sister, she had this Labrador, black lab, and I had a bag of those chocolate covered espresso beans. He got into them and ate them. And this dog was panting. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, so she, of course we get him to the vet. And I said, just got to go through his system. He's going to be okay. And he was all jittery. And I'm like, hey, what dog eats chocolate covered espresso beans?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Our dog would probably. Our dog ate the Oreos because Aiden licked the centers out and then left a plate in his room. She had Oreo crumbs in her beer. We knew what she got into.
That's adorable.
So we're researching, is Oreos bad for your dog?
I know chocolate is in a large amount, but
right. But yeah, it's amazing.
Oreos and espresso beans.
Okay, so just looking real quick. I see Courtney's joined us. Welcome, Stanley. Courtney's like, tonight, no show tonight.
They're asking about the website.
Yeah, she was asking about that too. Yeah.
It's
and we're making everybody hungry.
I'm working on that in pretty much every minute I have free. I'm working on that thing to get it back up. It was just a random attack with the thing. Lost that website and my author's website, but the station website is probably 40% done. Getting there, and it'll be up here soon, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to have some new stuff in there for them. I made like a shout box where they can type in comments that will be spam free, more secure. Oh boy, did I learn a lesson. But that'll be up soon, and the app still works. The mobile app should still be operational. Aside from the website, you can still listen to past shows and all that good stuff on there. But the new one's going to rock. It's going to be really, really nice. It's going to be something new.
Yeah, and I see Tim's joining us too, and Courtney, there it goes. She's like, now desserts, it's 9:14, guys. So I guess we're talking too early about dessert. I mean, I can go get the cake and start eating on it. I still have some of it left.
The motto.
Yeah, and it was funny because it wasn't even on their menu because they change their menu every time, and I was like, oh, do you guys have the ice cream cake? And she brought one with her.
That sounds really good though. Nice 4th of July ice cream cake.
Yeah, and it was like 98 degrees out yesterday while we were walking around, so it was perfect.
Down there, humid.
Yeah, humidity is pretty bad. That's why my hair is like doing nothing.
Yeah, my hair is just flat today. I'm just letting it go. But
Well,
it's
just go ahead.
no, it's just a relaxed, laid back day, and
Hmm.
that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yep.
The heat, I don't know if it affected your area, the smoke, the wild from the Canadian wildfires.
Mm-mm.
Did it go all the way down there? It came here down here
The
and
other day, I
oh,
was smelling like forest fire, but I wasn't sure if it was that because we're so far south, or if it was just someone barbecuing.
it could have been. I
Yeah.
mean, it I guess it got caught on a jet stream
Hmm.
or something and came down this far.
Okay.
And now it's cleared up, thank God.
Hmm.
But the air quality was so bad, they told you to stay inside. So it was just
No, it's just been rainy.
yeah. We finally did get some rain. We had a big drought too,
Hmm.
huge drought for forever. And then it rained, and it's rained so much the ground is still soaking it up.
Hmm.
It's not even flooded. Normally, we have a little place in our yard that would pool.
Hmm.
It's soaking it all up, so that's good. Everybody's getting rain that they need, and that cuts down the pollen, that cuts down the
Yep.
smoke, puts out the fires.
Yep.
Everything works out.
Yep. Yeah, we have a tree that hangs over our parking spot, and in the spring and like early fall, it'll be like covered in yellow from the pollen
The
from the tree.
pollen, the
We not,
palm trees down there are the
yeah.
worst, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That
Yep.
yellow stuff gets everywhere.
Hmm. Yeah, that and then the acorns. It's shedding all of its acorns right now, the other tree.
Oh wow.
So it's like you can't really walk outside barefoot unless you that's where you're walking because that's worse than stepping on a Lego.
It's gonna get a little squishy.
But anyway, I was just gonna say, whenever you want to take a commercial break, just let me know. A laid back show today. You know me, I don't really plan, and I
Oh
don't know if you need to take a commercial break or anything like that.
yeah, we can't really lead anybody to the website that's not there. So we've got two sponsors we can roll.
Okay.
But it's Stanley sent some down here. Oh, say Stanley. Triple digits.
Uh,
Oh, yuck.
yeah, I was seeing Vegas was hitting triple digits.
Ooh. Oh. Now, I'm not a fan of the heat. Not a fan of the humidity.
Mhm.
I'm allergic to like bees and
Mhm.
wasp and things like that. Highly allergic to those things. And the humidity brings them out like wildfire. So I
Mhm.
try and stay inside close to an EpiPen.
Yes. Yeah. No, I love being outside, but it's so hard with the humidity. The heat didn't. That's why we liked Vegas because there was no humidity.
Yeah, it's dry over
Yeah.
there.
Yep. And it was funny because when we first moved out there, it's 100 and some degrees, and we're out hiking, and nobody else is out because they're all indoors in the air conditioner. But 110 degrees didn't feel like anything to us because there was no humidity on it.
Like Tim, hi Tim. He's out there in
Yep.
California, I think.
Mhm.
115. Yeah. The heat. I don't know. What do you think about? Let's talk about this for a second because I'm curious what other people think too.
Mhm.
Government controlled weather, this HARP.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, I
kind of
don't know what I think
strange
about that.
how things are popping up.
Mhm.
These sporadic storms, they seem to be strategically placed in certain areas. It's
Mhm.
weird.
Yeah.
And we're getting some weird weather
Mhm.
all over the place. Like what was it, last year? There was snow in California.
Mhm. Yep.
It's just strange things like that. I didn't know
Right.
what your take was on that or anybody else with the whole government controlled weather.
Yeah, it's interesting because it would be neat if they're doing it to experiment right now, but because then in the future, like they could stop hurricanes from hitting Florida, they could stop the different things from they could give weather rain to the desert areas and the Vegas area and all of that. But yeah, just the fact that it's happening randomly right now, it's like I'm the type of person that's like the government should tell us everything they're doing so we're not shocked. Don't experiment on us unless you tell us what you're doing.
Right.
But that's not going to
Let
happen.
us know beforehand.
Right.
Send us a memo.
But yeah, I mean, it could be possible. It's not something I think about a lot, but yeah, it's it's interesting.
It is.
Hmm.
It's something to think about, you know. I mean, because everybody talks about global warming and things
Hmm.
like that, and
Yeah.
all of it's far fetched out there. But I
Hmm.
find it strange that we get hit in April with a huge tornado that just
Hmm.
went through 3 counties.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then this last storm, it was just literally on the other side of us, and they
Hmm.
get wiped out.
Yeah.
It's strange how the
Hmm.
path just strategically went over there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how in places that don't normally get stuff like that are getting it.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
it's yeah, definitely something to watch for. I mean, it's funny too because we keep watching the hurricane forecast, and every day they're like, this tropical storm or this depression is going to hit, and this is the expected path, and then the next day it's like gone.
See, it goes out there in the Caribbean.
Right. It's like it's
Just
never hit.
it's going to be a category 1. Oh no, there it went. Never mind.
Yep.
Never mind. We're good. We're good.
It's like they can't get their act together this year.
It's crazy. I think it's just weird how the weather's taking over, and
Hmm. Yeah,
it's
it's
strange.
yeah. I mean, this year
Some
we were
places
told.
are
I
so
mean,
dry.
they say it every year. Be prepared for the worst hurricane season ever, and it's like, yeah, okay. They weren't here in what was it, 2004. Aiden was only 6 months old, and I was living over in Vero Beach, and we got hit with Charlie, Jean, and Francis, all within a 30-day period.
Ooh,
So, and it
whoa,
was yeah. It's
that's
like
a heavy
okay,
hit.
it is, and they were all 3 and higher.
That's a
So
heavy hit.
yeah,
Yeah,
and we,
category 3 is nothing to mess with.
no, no, and it was just like, it's like we'd evacuate for one because I was living with my parents, and they're not on the Indian River, but if you go to the ocean the way a bird flies, they're less than a mile away from the ocean.
Hmm.
But they have to drive to the nearest bridge because there's a river that they have to go over to get there. So, but yeah, they're right there basically on the Atlantic. So whenever there's a 2 or higher, they're supposed to evacuate. And my son was only 6 months old. I was living with them, and we evacuated for one. Came home 2 days later. You got to go. It was like, but back then I was working for Disney, so we evacuated to Disney because I
Oh,
had discounts on hotels, and
I bet that was a project.
it was yeah. But we had fun. We went, we evacuated, and stayed at Disney, and we were at the theme parks until they told us to get to our hotels, and
That's scary.
yeah.
Hurricanes are just scary because
Hmm.
they just when you think they're over, the eye's overhead
Yeah.
and things are calm for a minute, the sun peeks out, and then
Hmm.
all hell breaks loose again.
Yep.
They're
Yeah.
really powerful beasts, a
Hmm.
hurricane is.
Yep. Yeah. What was it? It was years, and I think it was like over 10 years ago, but we had flown to New York and we were coming back home, and there was, I don't even remember which storm it was, but it was a category 1, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I'm figuring that they're going to land us somewhere else and we're not even going to make it to Florida. But the pilot comes on, he's like, okay, we're about to land. He goes, we're going to land in the eye of the storm. I'm like, we're what? But yeah, it's funny.
No hurricanes in Wisconsin, Jamie Lynn. That's a good thing. Sometimes we get some bad rain from them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and the tornadoes that follow on the eye wall rim.
Yeah.
It's you get a little bit of everything during a hurricane.
And they have those planes, the hurricane hunters.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be on one of those during one of these things to just fly into the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the adrenaline alone would just
Right.
be amazing.
Yep.
But I'm sure the just the energy, the electricity in there is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys
Yeah.
go in there and just, I mean, I think it's like a crew of 9 or 10 people on this
Mm-hmm.
plane,
Yeah,
all with
it's not a small
computers.
crew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
That's something I'd like to
Yeah,
do.
there's actually one of those planes leaves our airport here because we'll see notifications from the city on Facebook that says, such and such plane is leaving to go check out Hurricane X, Y, and Z.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, and that you can see it at the air show that they do every year here.
And the armor on those things are,
Mm-hmm.
jeez.
They
It's
need
like
to
a
armor
flying
military planes
tank.
with that stuff.
It's like a flying tank.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And it's, talking about tornadoes too, could you imagine if they could come up with something like that you could actually fly into, instead of just saying, right now they have devices that go into tornadoes, but could you imagine someone actually
flying into one,
right.
With a drone or something, to see what it is. I mean, if they
Yeah.
could get in there somehow, just to kind of, that would
And
be
not lose
cool.
it.
Yeah. No, boy, talk about a good pilot.
Right. Oh, yeah. I just don't. It would be fun, but I just don't know how they do it.
Well, you ready to roll a sponsor?
Oh, sure. Yep, we can do that. I can top off my coffee then while we're doing that.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
No matter the questions, Ellie Weisencell can help you find the answers. Ellie is a gifted intuitive and a natural energy healer, which she applies using the body code and emotion code healing systems, among others, to help you achieve balance for your best results. Are you looking for more clarity about which direction to follow with your life, health, or career? Let Ellie guide you. As a psychic, Ellie can provide clarity to the path you are on, so you may use your free will to change the direction of your life. Are you wanting to communicate with a loved one who's passed? As a certified psychic medium, Ellie Weisencell can connect you with your loved ones on the other side to facilitate healing or offer closure. To schedule your appointment with Ellie, look her up on Facebook at Ellie Weisencell Psychic Medium, or email her at ellieweisensell@gmail.com. That's Ellie Weisencell, Weisensell.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. And, I'm so glad that, I have you here today, because it makes for a fun show. Starts off
Yeah,
the
it's always
day
a
on
good
a
time.
good
I
note.
always love talking to you, Heather. It's amazing. We get into some really cool stuff.
Exactly.
Really cool stuff. And Leigh, I got to say, I was reading this on the break. Leigh said she used to fly in the U.S. Air Force. Thank you for your service very much, Leigh. And she wouldn't go on that plane, the Hurricane Hunter. I don't know. Something's just drawing me to that plane.
Come down for the Sun and Fun show, and then you can at least see it.
Maybe it's because, here comes the secret. This is how I relax. I don't watch television that much. I mean, I may catch a movie every once in a while. But Sherry got a hold of this thing. It's called an Oculus. And it's a virtual reality thing you put on your face. And there is this game in there. It's called World War II. And you fly these old World War II planes. And it's so real. You have to control the plane.
Yep.
And that's my form of relaxing, Heather.
Yeah.
Is flying a plane.
I know when I was growing up, I was in, what was the name of the program? ROTC. But I was in the Navy NROTC. And my goal was I wanted to be a Navy fighter pilot.
Oh, wow.
But back in the 90s, when I went to go enlist, they told me, in the conversation, they're like, we don't let women fly in combat. So I'm going to go do all the training just to sit behind a desk. So I was like, never mind. My purpose of joining was, so that ended that. And I never continued any further.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more women I'd go to combat with than men.
Yeah. But this was back in the day where you could join and you can do everything the men do, but you just won't be going to combat.
That's not right.
Yeah. So, and that's, oh, well.
Yeah. Of course, they wouldn't accept me back in the day because of bad ticker upstairs. But I've always wanted to do something like that. And there's a lot of advantages to it. Discipline. They teach you so many different things, which is what I wanted to learn. Was the discipline of it. Of just one of the services. It didn't matter which one it was, but I respect them all. But it was just one of those things where I wanted to but couldn't, and that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough
Yep.
when they say, well, it's,
Hmm.
what, are you afraid that you're going to put me in some kind of drop zone with firearms and I'm going to go crazy? I mean, I'm just,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah. It's weird, the requirements. And I probably would have been booted because of my eyesight. I mean, like right now, I
eyesight.
think the last time I saw the doctor, I was 2250. So I can't see. I have to wear readers with my contacts in order to see
Wow.
clearly.
That's
But
okay.
my dad, I was a Navy brat. My dad, he when he wasn't, I don't know the true story behind it or anything, but from what I remember is when he wasn't drafted, he joined. So, and I mean, he served everywhere from Egypt to,
The
Germany,
traveling.
you name it, and we were stuck in Virginia.
Wow.
Well, he traveled, but we had a really nice place right there on the beach
Oh,
near the
nice.
Navy base.
Yeah, they have some nice spots.
Hmm.
Some of these bases.
Yeah. Yeah, they had, what was it? It was I don't even know if it's still standing, but there was an amusement park. So you had our apartment complex, the road, and then there was the big wooden roller coaster is what we could see from our window. And then you had the beach. So it was like,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I wish I was older enough back then to remember, but I was only like, I think we moved back to Illinois when I was 5 or 6. It was just before kindergarten because I started kindergarten up in Illinois.
Yeah, you bounced around too.
No,
Jeez,
we stayed and he moved.
so he moved and let you guys stay there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I wish my father would have done that. We were
Yeah. So,
uprooted. He was
yeah.
transferred a lot. Not in the military. He worked for a power company, but went from
Okay.
Massachusetts to Wyoming. Talk about a culture shock as a kid.
You know exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, we were based in Norfolk. So we stayed in Virginia Beach and he was just on his ship and he would go out for 6 months to a year
Wow.
and,
That's
then
a
come
long
back.
time.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time in Illinois with my grandparents
Hmm.
in addition to that. So, but yeah, I don't remember much of it, but
Did you just call your dad an emu?
did I?
No, I think she
Oh,
was talking to me.
oh, I'm like, if I did, it's a good thing my dad doesn't watch the show.
My dad's an emu.
I love the audience that we have.
Oh, they're
It's
great.
the one thing when I wake up in the morning and don't really want to do the show. It's like I look forward to chatting with them out there. It's a
It's
lot
a
of fun.
team effort. These
Hmm.
shows are a team effort. My
Yep.
goodness. I mean, it's tough to come on and carry a show for a couple hours.
Hmm.
It goes by fast,
It does. It
but
does.
it's still, it's just, it seems like a long time,
Hmm.
but it really isn't in this field. It just
Right.
kind of zips right by.
I remember in college we would have 4-hour segments on the
Yeah.
radio station.
Hmm.
So this is nothing.
No, they would do the shifts back then.
Hmm.
I used to DJ back then for the college station. That was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
That was a lot of fun
Yep.
doing
Yeah.
I mean, thank God they played classic rock.
Hmm.
That's my gig. That's what I like is classic rock. But
Hmm.
some of these other college stations play modern music. They play hip hop and things. And I couldn't go through hip hop. I
Hmm.
don't think I'm not a hip hop bouncy kind of hip hop guy. I'm more of an AC/DC kind of chilling out.
Right. Yeah. No, we did talk radio. We had a talk radio station.
Oh, nice.
So it was, I just kind of sat there. I did it for one semester, but I sat there and just kind of talked which is probably why I'm, continued with paranormal investigating because, I'm used to talking to nobody.
Oh man, that's so true.
It's like I don't know. You feel weird when you're doing it too, but it's like, is anybody, at least nowadays we have, the comment section where we can
Mhm.
see people interacting. But back then it was like, if nobody called the radio station, you're like, okay.
Yeah, if you didn't have any call-ins, you didn't think anyone was listening, but yet you could
Right.
have thousands of people listening. You have no clue. And back
Exactly.
before, well, when the station first started, we were totally audio,
Hmm.
all audio, and it was hard for the hosts to, do their show because they didn't
see the feedback from the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a tough gig. You really have to mentally put yourself there for a little
Mm-hmm.
while and paint the picture instead
Mm-hmm.
of
Yep.
showing them the picture. I
Right.
liked it.
Which, yeah, I'm thinking, okay, I don't have to put makeup on. I don't have to worry about bad hair days like today. It's like,
And still, I mean, I'm old school, but I prefer
Mhm.
audio over video still.
Right. Yeah. No, it's funny. Last week, someone messaged me. He's like, "Hey, I need you on my show. Can you come, changing of my dates because someone canceled on him?" And I'm like, "Is it audio or video?" He's like, "Oh, it's just audio." I'm like, "I can do it." 'Cause I'm in my house cleaning t-shirt and my hair is in a ponytail. And
Yep, I'll be there on my
I'm like, I
way.
didn't really feel like taking a shower and doing everything I needed to do.
You're just laying there in bed like, hey, what's going on?
I know.
Yeah, video's different. Audio, you've got to pay attention to. I think you've got to pay attention more to the guest
Mhm.
because you can't see them. You can't make
Right.
eye contact like you can video. So you really have to pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
You have a face for radio, Lee says.
I do. Oh God, do I ever. A fuzzy one.
Uh, I had something I wanted to mention, but I completely forgot. I'm like, duh, I need to start writing stuff down. But even before the show, our talk, not talk, we mentioned para-unity.
Yes.
This is something that I get asked on every podcast I'm on, and not a lot of people like my answers.
No, your answers are straightforward and true.
Mhm.
And a lot of
Yep.
people don't like to hear truth.
Nope.
And it's tough. Talking about para-unity is tough.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Paranormal drama goes in with the mix of it.
A day doesn't go by. And what's sad is, I mean, I know the celebrities aren't the end all be all of the field, but they even have their paranormal drama that they air out on TV.
Yeah. They aired it on television, then it airs onto social media. What kind of example?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these shows should put themselves on a pedestal to where, okay, we are an example to other investigators, not only other investigators, but to the general public on what they think paranormal investigations are.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd think they would step up their game. But that doesn't sell.
Mm-mm.
That won't sell ads.
Nope.
So
And that's sad.
And what's sad is you have a lot of the paranormal tourism that, like you talk
Mhm.
about, because of those programs, and they're
Mhm.
going out there and doing their thing, vandalizing and so forth, leaving the place trash, going into places unauthorized. It needs to stop.
Mhm.
I mean, these paranormal celebrities out there on television should just say a message. Take a moment of their episode
Mhm.
to say a message,
Yep.
telling people how important it is, how serious it is to investigate. Not that it's
Yep.
always scary and people are running around all the time.
Mhm. Yeah, a disclaimer at the end of the show. Like at the end of all my blog posts, when I talk about haunted locations, I'll put never investigate without permission from the owner. Because I don't want them to think just because I shared, hey, we investigated here, that you can just go.
Yeah.
It's some type of something. I see Brent's joining us. Welcome, Brent, to the show. I can't believe you're awake already. He's all the way out in Vegas. And I'm going to make him blush real quick because he's the one investigator that I did a lot of investigations with. And absolutely, him and I worked so well together. He's probably one of the best investigators I've actually had the opportunity to work with.
It's always good to have someone you work with that you can trust, that you
Yep.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, that makes a huge difference.
Yep. Yeah, I do. He's one of the things I miss about Vegas. Granted, I trust my husband and my son in the dark when we're investigating, but he's really good at it. And we talked about it one time. We could actually just sense what each other wanted to do, and what we didn't even have to talk about what we were doing. We just knew what each other was doing, and it was great.
Guys are in sync. The chemistry's there. That's always good on a team.
Yep.
So for a team to work in unison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you mentioned paranormal unity. That's a tough gig right there to use this as an example. You have the UFO community.
Mm-hmm.
They're organized.
Yep. With
MUFON and all these different places that are recognized.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
To where our community, the ghost and hauntings community, keeps separating into different facets. You know, you have ITC over here, EVP down here, you have video here, photographs here, you know, and it's we just need to come in full circle.
Yeah, that's
I
why I
think
keep
what's stopping
saying,
is the egos.
right. Yeah, what we need to do is do something like even the cryptozoology field. We need to have some type of organization that's nationally and worldwide recognized that can certify. You know,
Something.
it's not just a member method of signing up for a membership and I'm part of this organization. It's actually, you have to go through certifications and field investigations, and you know, because I've looked into MUFON, and they're not easy to get into if you want to be in their inner core. And you know, we need that. You know, yes, we can still have our paranormal tourists, but we need, for if you're going into someone's home or you're doing true research, we need that stamp of approval.
I couldn't agree more. You know, we're not saying go out and find your local expert. It's find experience. It's out there. You know, find the experience.
Yeah. And Stanley, no, actually, we moved out to Vegas shortly before Bonnie Springs shut down. So I was never able to get there, but wish I had. And then Brent says,
Brent's comment.
Yep. It separates because you have TV investigators and paranormal investigators. Too many people want to be, and excuse the team, the next Zach Bagans, or excuse the term, the next Zach Bagans. Yeah.
Dude run. Yeah. And it's everyone's climbing this ladder. But the problem is people are they're knocking us off.
Yep.
And what I see is a community that I fell in love with, that welcomed me with open arms. I see it in need of readjustment. You know, I need it. It needs readjusted, shaken, put back down, let's settle. And then, you know, all these things need aired out. People, we as a community need to talk about these things, these shows, and not be afraid to talk about these shows because they are very influential to other people.
Right.
I mean, they run the networks, and 98% of people sit there and watch those shows and those ads that they play on them.
Yep.
And take it in stride, take it for truth. You know, it's a production. It's made for entertainment, like anything else. Now there's some cool things, cool places they go. You know, I used to enjoy the history of some of these, just listening to the history of them. But they have a tendency to knock people off track. They're good. They raise awareness. I like that it's not taboo to talk about this anymore. You can talk about it openly these days, and you're not, what, you don't think I'm crazy?
Yeah.
I like that part of it. But do you think it's gotten too relaxed? Oh, Heather froze. What do you guys think? You guys think it's gotten too relaxed out there in the field? Do you think we need to tighten up the grip? Readjust? Heather's coming. She's trying to come back here. She's working on it. We're getting broken audio. It's coming. There we go.
Got me?
Somewhat, and you're settling. Your audio should be working though.
Is it working now?
Your audio's working and the video's coming in.
I need to connect because have the booster right behind me, but I need to connect. And when I connect directly to the booster, it blurs my video. So I got to figure out that a little bit more. But yeah, it's just, and what people don't understand is just because these shows go to these locations doesn't mean it's free reign to go either. So many people will trespass. And I mean, I know it's not the same thing, but I have a little addiction to hoarders. I don't know why, but I love that show.
That show is freaking awesome.
It makes me feel like my house is actually clean. But I was reading an article that I think it was Mac Paxton was interviewed, and he said a lot of people after the show complain because people in the community think it's okay to go to their home and look in the windows to see if they're still keeping it clean. And I think it's something similar in the paranormal field. You know, they see a show go to, you know, this person's home or this, you know, location, and they think it's okay to go when the place only, the place only opened up for the show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing that people
Mm-hmm.
need to take under consideration. That,
Yep.
like you said, some of these places are untouchable,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep. Yeah. I
you're
think
going
actually,
by what they say if it's haunted or not. It may not be
right,
haunted at all,
exactly.
but because they say it is, does that mean it is? You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, second opinions, you never know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. People need to get into these locations and determine it. And I mean, even Brent, he actually showed me a video before I moved from Vegas that he saw the people were actually filming in Rhyolite. And there was in one of the buildings, there was a chain that said, you know, do not enter. And they videoed them going under the chain next to the do not enter sign and put it up on YouTube.
Jeez. The hell's wrong with people?
I know. So, I mean, you know, it's just like when he showed me that, I'm like, oh my God, there's no hope for this field. I'm like, if you're going to, not to encourage people doing that, but if you're going to do that, don't put it on YouTube.
Yeah, let's just broadcast ourselves trespassing.
Yeah, he sent that to the sheriff's department. But yeah, and locations, they do capitalize. I mean, St. Augustine Lighthouse. If you want to investigate it, it's $5,000. It's
$5,000.
Yeah, it's like, holy crap. I mean, and that's just for one night.
Well, they better have ghosts in a bag that you can take home afterwards for that kind of change.
Right. And what they told me is they were on Ghost Hunters twice.
Okay.
And it's like, and I know people, and because if you go and like my co-host on Wednesday nights, he goes to St. Augustine, and he actually goes into, I think it's the basement or the lighthouse keeper's home at the end of the day. And they tell him as long as nobody's in there, you know, you can do what you do. So he sets up a couple cameras and just does a quick EVP session and then packs up his stuff and leaves. So it's not like a full-blown investigation, but it's just a quickie type thing. And other than that, they want $5,000 for you to investigate the tower, you know, have full reign of the lighthouse keeper's home. And it's just like,
see, that's insane. That to me, you know, that's almost unobtainable.
yeah. Or these other locations that if you say you want to film, you know, for your YouTube or for your radio show, if you don't have more than so many thousand followers, they won't let you in.
Oh.
Or if it's not a network television show, they won't let you in.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
And it's sad because it's an untapped resource.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of places in Vegas and Goldfield that gave us the friend discount.
The friend discount. You can't
they
beat
open
that.
their doors for us.
Yeah, and there's so many places out there like that, and I've got an opportunity. Sherry and I are going to Waverly Hills in August.
Oh, yes.
Now this is all paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, they charge an arm and a leg for an overnight there. My thing is, I want to see what the hype is all about.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if this is all talk or if, you know, what's going on. So,
yep. Yeah, I know I was supposed to go before COVID hit. Or no, it was during COVID. It was the August of the first year of COVID. We were supposed to go. And my doctor's like, no, you're not traveling.
oh.
So
I don't know. I've heard a lot, and I've talked to a lot of people about it, and it's, you know, a lot of hype. There's some people saying that they used to put speakers in there and have them scare you and all that fun stuff, and I'm not into all that kind of jazz.
yeah. Hopefully, like even Brent's saying, hopefully that changes now that the legal battles are over.
I hope.
And the prices changed too. But yeah, that was also paradrama. And it's, you know, in itself, and it wasn't even the people involved in it. It was, you know, this group's followers and this group's followers were attacking each other's social media. And it was like,
why?
I went through a lot of popcorn during that phase.
It's crazy. You just watch it unfold, and the slightest thing will kick off this paranormal drama. It can
Yep.
be the smallest, most minuscule little thing, and it
An orb's a
snowballs.
bug.
Huh?
Orb's a bug.
Yeah. Oh, oh. This segment brought to you by Pledge. Yeah. There's a lot that phenomenon is strong.
Okay, question for the two of you. Why at times do you get the ice cold when you are by a spirit and sometimes there is no cold with you? Yeah, that's
Mhm.
something that's still being researched. I know theory is that they're pulling the energy, so it's getting cold. But in my experience in the science aspect of it is when energy is being manipulated, it usually heats up.
Yes.
So I have no idea why it gets cold. I'm still
There's a couple theories out there, and you know you're absolutely correct. One is the absorption of all the heated molecules that they need to manifest. They suck them all out of the air, so you get your cold spots. Well, I personally think that when they leave this realm, they have to leave anything that they used behind, so that whenever they're taking off, whenever they're done manifesting, whenever they leave, that's where you get your hot spot. They put those back. You know, because there's investigations where I've walked in and I mean, it's winter outside and this room is like 70, 75 degrees. It makes no sense.
Mhm.
You know, it's strange. And like you said, with manipulating energy like that,
Yep.
it can only be transferred. It can't be destroyed. So it has to be,
Yeah.
I think, left behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Hey, Dia, thank you for watching today.
Hi, yeah, happy 4th.
Spirits can feel cold around me, but my body can heat up when speaking with them. Yep. Yeah, I think
It
it's
could be
all
a
just,
body thing.
yeah, it's all personal experiences, and you know, who knows. That's one thing that still gets me, because in the research that I did when I was studying for my PhD, it was, if they're manipulating the molecules, that should be heating up the space.
Right.
So as they're trying, so the sucking in would make more sense than that. But yeah, it's still that's one of those things that I don't know. If you can capture the air molecules, that's where the microscope comes in handy.
That's where the microscope comes in handy. There you go. That's where it gets down to that part where it's you cover it. Slide it on over.
Yep. Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, it's
Because it gets complicated, and she'll come back here in a second, folks. It's probably weather related down there. There she is.
hello.
But it's strange how all of that happens, and we have a tendency to complicate it when I think it's really so simple that we're overlooking it.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking for something that we can't see. It's not tangible. We can't hold it. We can't put it in a jar, anything like that. So it's like this mystery, and I don't know. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
You know,
I wish there was some way we could just get that scientific answer.
Yeah. Well, how do you think the world would change? Let's say here in the next few hours, somebody finds and captures some kind of full-bodied apparition on film or video, and it's authentic. You know, how do you think that would change the country, the world as a whole, knowing that there's something after we die?
Right. It's one of those things where it would do a lot of different things. First of all, you would bring out the naysayers that would come flocking and trying to disprove it. And most of their time would be disproving it rather than going, with the flow and trying to continue proving it. And I think it's the same thing with why we don't know much about UFOs, because it's one of those things where some people will be excited. Others who are, I really don't, if you're religious, that's fine. But the extreme religions, we could end up with another Jonestown, which is why the government, I guess, fears we're not ready for UFO involvement yet. There's so many different things that can happen. It's scary.
It's very scary. I mean, and I'm no conspiracy theorist, but is this something they're trying to keep under wraps because of that? Because this could crumble religions, the truth. It could, so many things would would be answered. So many
Mhm.
questions would be answered, and it would just, the money lost would be ungodly,
Mhm.
because there'd be just all kinds of money lost. So many things would just change
Mhm.
if the truth came out.
Yeah. And going
I
with
don't
the
know if we're ever going to
conspiracy,
find it.
yeah, with the conspiracy theory aspect of it, you know, are there plans causing the drama to keep us away from the truth?
That's the thing.
Yep.
And it's not just thinking outside of the box. It's, you've got to expand
Mhm.
in this field, especially. You've got to expand your thoughts. You've got to really open your mind to a lot of change, a lot of different things. Change can happen in an
Mhm.
instant,
Yep.
a millisecond. So it's a constant battle
Mhm.
between all of that.
Yep. Yeah. It's like with any individual person, no one believes, or most people don't believe in UFOs or Bigfoot until they come face to face with one. And I think the paranormal realm, which I think paranormal realm includes UFOs and Bigfoot, but until they come face to face with a ghost.
Hmm. And like Stanley said up there, um, earthbound spirits have to come back to fulfill their karma.
Hmm.
I just that stood out to me, because I just learned the other day about karma. You know how
Hmm.
karma is, they say it's always going to come back, and
Hmm.
oh, well, I guess it comes back in the next lifetime. So I thought that was interesting. Comes back
Hmm.
to fulfill their karma.
Yep. Yeah.
It could
Who knows?
be something as simple as that. It really could.
Right. Yep. And the other thing too is, I mean, our ghosts and spirits, one thing that I've been talking about in a lot of shows lately is, are they UFO? Are they aliens that are coming to us in forms that we would be comfortable with? Would we
Hmm.
be more comfortable with, Uncle Joe or, Aunt Betty coming to us instead of this gray alien looking creature?
Right.
You know, and is that where we get the swap, when it comes from, you think you're communicating with something nice, and then all of a sudden it turns what people refer to as demonic? So is this all alien based, and is that why we're kept away from the truth, because that connects to UFOs?
I like that. The connection.
Yeah.
All of this could be very well connected.
Hmm.
If you think about it, the universe is huge. We
Right.
don't know how big it is. It's that big.
Mm-mm.
It's massive. We
Yeah.
haven't discovered all of our oceans either.
No.
So there's all this space that we haven't touched.
Hmm.
Who knows where UFOs are hanging out, aliens are hanging out, what planet, we don't know. But it
Right.
could all be interstellar like that, to where
Hmm.
they just appear, or
Yep.
like
Hmm.
Bigfoot, for example.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel he's an interstellar being. I mean,
Hmm.
a primate, yes, but interstellar,
Yeah.
kind of.
Why haven't we found a dead body?
Yes.
Like we come across, dead deer in the forest, or, a dead bear. Why haven't we
Mhm.
found a dead Bigfoot?
And it's tough. There was a story a long time ago. I interviewed a guy named Tom Biscardi. This guy would
Hmm.
go out in the mountains for days and research these creatures and try and capture one.
Hmm.
And with his expedition, I guess this old lady had stated that she had fed the Bigfoot and attracted them with pancakes.
Hmm.
And so he was going to go out there and try and set the expedition and capture one using pancakes.
Hmm.
Well, that's just kind of giving you an idea of what he does, how kind of crazy he gets out there and
Right.
does this stuff. But there was a person that called, notified him, said that they had the body of Bigfoot in a freezer. And this
Hmm.
was probably back in the early 2000s. He had the Bigfoot in the freezer. So Tom spends all this money, this expeditions. Oh, we've got him, and goes up there and examines this, and it's like a fursuit
Hmm.
with pig organs stuffed in it. And these people had it all played, and it looked so authentic, because it just, the initial photo just showed Bigfoot kind of laying in a freezer, and I couldn't believe that. And that went viral for a while. A lot of people
Hmm.
were really into that story, and then it turned out to be a false claim, of course.
Hmm.
But to have those false claims in this field, it's
Hmm.
tough.
Yeah.
because people won't take it seriously. Again, with UFO claims, the same thing with the Roswell incident, with
Hmm.
the video surfacing of the alien surgeries and things
Hmm.
that they did back then.
Yep.
You know, they look authentic, but they're not.
Hmm.
Or are
Yeah.
they?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
those kinds of, that's why this field is so damn mysterious.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't
It's
reach out and grab those things,
yeah.
and those fake things that come through like that knock us down a few pegs, and we've got to
Hmm.
start all over again. It's a pain in the ass.
It is. I'm always researching. It's there's always something new, and who knows
Yep.
who who knows, and it's is it all connected, or and I personally do think, and I had someone on this show a couple of years ago, but Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm.
I think that's where we're going to get a lot of our answers, because they have a mix of everything. Yeah, it's haunted items, alien
Yes,
area.
Brent.
Yep.
Absolutely. Haunted
Mhm.
items. Holy cow. Do you have anything that's haunted?
I have a doll that I think is attached to my grandfather, or my grandfather is attached to it, and everyone laughs because it's a Raggedy Andy doll.
Ooh, I'm horrified of dolls.
For the most part, I am too, but I have them on display in the house, and then all the other dolls that I had as a child are either gone or in a storage box.
Yeah. Sherry does that with dolls
Hmm.
around the house. She puts up dolls, Raggedy
Yeah.
Ann and Andy set.
Hmm.
They
Yeah,
just
mine
kind of,
is from the 1900s, like early 1900s,
wow.
and they're only about this tall,
Wow.
so they're just kind of short, short ones.
What
And
what kind of things have happened? Has anything like stood
well,
out as far as,
it's weird because they were always on my grandparents' bed. And I remember playing with them as a child. And all of a sudden, when I was growing up, I had experiences with my grandfather being in the new house that he had never been in. And my mom had the dolls. Then I went off to college, everything, visions of my grandfather and visitations stopped. And I completely forgot about the dolls for the longest time. And I guess my mom had given them to my cousin. And then my cousin was done with them about the same time I was diagnosed with stage 5 kidney disease. And my mom had sent the dolls to me knowing that I had wanted them growing up. And there's still a little note that I wrote like when I was 2, and it's just like squiggly lines that's in, I think it's his pocket. And so that's still there. And once I got the dolls back, my grandfather started coming to me again.
wow.
So yeah, and it's he's still here. He comes and goes, but he's
Mhm.
still. But I didn't have any of that when I wasn't in the presence of the doll.
See, and that's an attachment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's definitely an attachment with the doll.
Yeah,
See,
either an
stuff like that's
attachment or
amazing.
he uses it as a vessel
Hmm.
to come back and
Conduit, yeah.
forth. Yeah,
That's pretty cool. I mean, you
yeah.
see them a lot in your dreams and things, or
Yeah. What had happened is, after I was diagnosed, it was funny. I don't want to say it was funny, but it was. I got a call when the night before we were supposed to board a 7-day cruise. My doctor calling me, telling me to meet him in the emergency room. But of course, we were in Los Angeles and I couldn't. So he's told me to go to the nearest emergency room. They ran all the tests and they're like, yes, my blood work was showing I was stage 5.
mm,
But I was healthy as can be. I wasn't sick. I wasn't, there was nothing else wrong with me. So the emergency room said, go on the cruise, but remember they have a doctor if you need to check your blood work or if you get sick. And we enjoyed the cruise, came home. I had, it was confirmed, but they did a biopsy. Biopsy showed I had a healthy kidney. So they, but then, and during that time, that's when my mom sent the dolls and I just had a major pity party. I thought my life was over. I'm just like, I was done. And during that, I had a dream that my grandfather was standing next to me telling me, don't worry, it's not your time. And I woke up and he was standing by my side of my bed, rubbing my arm.
oh wow,
And then as every doctor visit I went to, my kidney function improved. I never
wow.
needed a new kidney. And as of my last visit with the kidney doctor, he said that my kidneys are healthy. According to the blood work, yes, they're not functioning at 100%, but they're functioning at what someone my age would normally be functioning at.
That's incredible.
So I don't need to see him anymore. And it's,
Wow.
he basically told me I'm free of kidney disease. So yeah. And it's one of those things where, did he intervene?
Divine intervention.
Yep.
Right
Did he
there.
intervene, or did he know something that, I or the doctors didn't know? But yeah,
That's
and
pretty amazing.
he makes his, his presence known now and then after that.
That's pretty amazing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
To
It
have
took
cleared
5
up
years to
like
get
that.
there, but it got there.
It got there. That's what's important.
hmm Yeah.
That's what's neat. Maybe you had to learn something from every little segment.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, granted, of course, I did, change my diet a little bit, lost some weight, exercised a little bit more, but, I don't do any of that now. So, of course, the weight got put back on.
You and me both. Yeah. With that
It's
stuff.
like,
Oh, come on. If I'm going to run, something's going to be chasing me.
Yeah. And Brent just commented, he has $2 from an investigation that I was on. The woman was like, here, you take them. She didn't want to have anything to do with them. And he reports a lot of activity. And they were Japanese type dolls, right, Brent? And they're very pretty
Yeah.
dolls. They're not like you would expect most people with haunted objects that are all rugged and creepy looking.
Yeah, creepy looking, that factor. The ones that have the little markings on them and things. Yeah.
Vietnam from the early 50s.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Wow.
I think I have the photo somewhere. If not, I'll go to his page and get the photo and send it to you. But they're gorgeous.
I'd love to see them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you tack on the haunted factor. Brent, you could sell those for millions on eBay.
Yeah. Put them up there, just auction them off, see what happens.
But yeah, that case was an interesting case too. Oh yeah, and he also got the Ouija board that was in the house that they had used. Yeah, it was an interesting case. We had tons of activity, and it was actually funny. I don't know if you were there, but I was standing there with Lewis and there was another investigator standing with me, but the homeowner had an Alexa. And we didn't even think anything of it until afterwards, but we were standing by it, talking back and forth. And all of a sudden it came up on the Alexa, the definition of kidney disease.
Whoa.
And I had been diagnosed by that point. And we're just like, talking. And then when we were leaving, Lewis was like, that was weird. And I'm like, then it clicked. It was like, I was standing next to it, and
wow.
It just started talking about kidney disease randomly. So it was interesting. And we weren't even, that wasn't something I would have talked about on an investigation with somebody.
No.
So
and that's not something you'd hear like on any AM or FM station either. People randomly talking about kidney disease.
Right.
And to have it pop up at that instant, that's
So it was, and we were done
incredible.
with the investigation. I didn't know where I was. Yeah. He had a moment where I don't know how I would have managed if it didn't fix itself, but he lost track of time, and he was from my vision, seeing him standing next to me, his eyes went solid black, and he was just standing there with a blank look on his face, and he wasn't himself. And I'm sitting there thinking, crap, how am I going to get this guy? I need to get him out of here. But I was like, okay, I'm going to give him 30 seconds. If he doesn't change, then I'm removing him from the situation. And before I got to 30 in my head, he came back and he was like, well, what happened? He didn't know where he was. He didn't even remember being on the investigation when he came to. But yeah, that was one of those. It's like, crap, what am I going to do? Because he's bigger than I am.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Drag him out. Cold water's not going to work on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's scary. That's a scary situation right there.
Yeah. But I learned a lot from that case. It was one of the cases that you definitely learn a lot from. So that was the one where something told me, because she put the house up for sale, and something told me to go to the website realtor.com to see, just check out the photos.
Mm-hmm.
And you could actually see in the reflection of her computer screen, 2 shadow figures standing by the closet. And this was posted on realtor.com. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, just glancing through it, you're not going to notice it. But, being the investigator that I am, I enlarged all windows, mirrors, and computer screens just to see if there was anything there. And I mean, now that I know it's there, I can see it just looking at the full photo. And it's interesting.
That's pretty wicked.
Yeah.
Shadow figures. Oh my goodness. That's a mystery right there in itself.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. No, I've talked with Mike Ricksecker about that, and his theories are I mean, he's like me. He has a ton of theories for each item,
So many.
and one of them was shadow figures are actual going through portals
Hmm.
and back and forth, alien in nature, or they could also be the manifestation of something that isn't truly capable of manifesting.
Right. Less energy.
Yeah. And then I know, I think it was Catherine Sorlos that I had on. She had said that sometimes when you see the shadow figure, it's because your energy is not connected with theirs, or
That's okay.
the
I like that.
possibility that you don't know that person, so you don't know what they look like.
You know, I like that.
Hmm.
That makes it more personal too.
Hmm. Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, I like that theory. That
Hmm.
actually makes sense. You don't find many that make sense anymore.
Nope, nope. I love both of them are amazing. And Catherine had been on a couple times on this show, and she actually opened my eyes. I wish I was still in Vegas because the little boy that haunts the Area 51 train that's at the museum I used to volunteer at, she had a vision that it wasn't a little boy who just liked the train. She thinks it was a child who was being experimented on in Area 51 and saw the train as a means of escape. And that's why he's attached to the train that's at the museum now.
Hmm.
Yep. Yes, definitely. Lee's going to be on my show on August 15th. I'm having non-paranormal investigators on the show to talk about their experiences.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I have her and, oh shoot, I forgot the other person's name, but she sent me a big message and we talked on the phone, and she's just absolutely amazing. She's like, I've done research, but I'm not an investigator. And I'm like, that's fine. I go, you're not an investigator, so it's not your permanent, you don't do it like I do.
Right, right.
It's not 24 hours a day. So yeah, that'll be fun. And we'll definitely talk about the orbs on Zillow on a house I went to. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you know, with orbs, there's such a slippery slope with those things.
Yeah.
And there are, I mean, I believe there are true spirit orbs,
Mm-hmm.
but they are so rare.
Yeah.
You know, and to tell the difference,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for somebody just watching, look at
Yeah.
zoom in on it. You can see the pixels in dust,
Mm-hmm.
but a true spirit orb is it's gonna glow true.
Yeah, and it's also going to shine light on
Mhm.
whatever's around it. And that's why when we had the orb show on Ghost Ed, we tried not to laugh, but we were laughing because some of the stuff is ridiculous. And
Oh yeah.
I pulled stuff off the internet. There was excuse me, Bill sent me a video that he had. It was a pastor here in Florida was on the news channel talking about his orb and sharing that he has an orb in his home, and you can clearly see it's a spider web. How that looks. And there was another one where the cameraman, they were filming a segment at a historic location for its anniversary, and then they went and said, well, the cameraman captured this green orb in 2 different locations. Now you would think the cameraman would know that that's light refraction within the camera. And I'm just like, things like that, yes, we're going to laugh at, because that's like, these people should know better.
They should know a lot better.
Mhm.
And some of the things, it's with today's technology, slap your carpet and take a picture. You'll see what a dust orb is.
Yep.
Just slap your floor, take a photo, and you'll see it. But there was only, in all the years that I've done this, Heather, there was only one time where I documented,
Mhm.
I think, a true spirit orb. It had
Mhm.
audio to follow it. And it was in an old schoolhouse.
Mhm.
I was videotaping with the night vision camera and looking inside through a broken window. Okay, the glass was gone,
Mhm.
and didn't notice anything there. Just filmed away. We get back and watching the video, and out of the corner of the window, this ball of light flies out. And you hear, "Hey!" And then this other one comes out, and you hear, "Hey, Daddy!" Almost like there were kids there. They were getting picked up from school or something. It's obviously residual.
Right.
But to see that on video, I flipped out. I'm thinking,
Mhm.
okay, that's a bug. No, No, there's audio behind it. Now there's two bugs. No, there's definitely good audio behind that. So it was
Right.
strange, and that's
Mhm.
still on one of those old cassettes that you'd put in
Mhm.
those old
Yep.
cameras, 8 millimeter or not eight
Yeah.
millimeter, but
Uh,
one of those millimeters.
mhm. Yep.
But it was just strange, and that's the only time I've really experienced any kind of spirit orb.
Mhm.
Um, Residual stuff. There was an opera house we did years ago where um, the stagehand in there, the maintenance guy, killed himself, shot
Mhm.
himself in there, and we were all sitting there. This was a collective holy cow. We're all sitting there, and this boom, loud boom goes off at like 2:30 in the morning, and it was residual of the gunshot. We were in the
Mhm.
same room where this guy did that. I mean, so it's crazy how the
Mhm.
residual thing comes about like that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's
It sticks
yeah.
like glue.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I know the only time I've ever witnessed an orb is in Gettysburg, and it was just a blue light that was floating across the triangular field.
Wow.
Yeah, just kind of. But when you shot photos of the area, put video on the area, even while it was going, nothing showed up.
Nothing.
And that's why I don't really take into account much. I truly believe that it's very rare
Yeah.
to capture a true orb or even paranormal activity.
Yeah.
You
Paranormal
know.
activity, period.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they
Yep.
say 98% can be explained. It's that
Mm-hmm.
2% that kind of
Yeah.
makes you go, hmm. Because some of these things can't be written off.
Right. Yeah. And then you have the stuff that people fake.
No, not in this field.
Oh.
No
Mm-mm.
way. No one's going to
No.
fake evidence to get to the top.
It's like, what was it? It's someone had photographed at a local park in, I think it was Green Valley Park. It was a little girl in like an 1800s dress, full length dress, all the frills and everything. And then a few days later, I saw someone photograph at a business in Vegas of the same little girl. Same position, holding her head the same way, arm the same way. And that got me like, okay, wait a minute. First of all, these locations, even though we don't know why spirits haunt locations or where they go, but these locations are like 30 miles apart. So it's not like the building was next to the park and she haunts both. It was,
Mhm.
she obviously definitely had to, put some energy to haunt both. And so I, zoomed in it and I cropped it and I did a reverse image search. And the ghost app on iPhone popped up. And it was one of the fake photos that you can add to a photo to make it look haunted.
But I thought those apps were genuine, and
I know.
I thought they were real, even though they say in huge capital letters, most of them entertainment purposes only. But
Mm-hmm.
you got to be careful with those damn things.
Yes.
Those things are getting a lot of people in trouble,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
they're confusing a lot of clients because some teams I've seen are using these things on investigations.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's
Yeah. My
probably not a good
phone.
idea.
My phone is in the car, unless I'm in a bad area. Then it comes in, but I turn it off, and it's in my bag, away from where we're doing the investigation. Not only because I do have the SLS app on my phone, only because I use it as a demonstration during talks to show how the SLS gives false positives.
Hmm.
But other than that, because I didn't really want to build a full SLS just to demonstrate that. so so I downloaded that one. But yeah, people
There's
are
a lot
using.
of discrepancy with the SLS. It's strange how you have a skeleton looking jumpy thing over here, and then you've got one sitting up here
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of nowhere. I don't know. I can't. I don't know if I can trust something like that.
No,
It
I
just to
know.
me it seems too subjective,
Mm-hmm.
too
Yep.
suggestive, too.
Thank
Yes,
you, Lee.
Gesundheit.
But yeah, one of our team members had one when we were investigating in Vegas, and Brent was there. And at first, we thought the spirit was mocking him, because we were testing it out to see what it was. But then
Uh-huh.
we realized, well, because it was doing the same movements Brent was doing. And then we realized that he was standing in front of a glass mirror or a glass window because it was at a museum. It was in front of a display. And once we realized that, we're like, oh.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're going to use it, know your location.
Know your surroundings. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But it'll pick up on, I know someone shared a video recently. They were in a cemetery and every headstone had a figure mapped out on it. And they're like, look at all these spirits attached to their graves. And I'm like, okay. It's trying to make sense.
To make sense of something like that just seems far and wide.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Exhausting too much energy. Yep. I just with what they have, the technology, artificial intelligence, I'm really, really worried about this in the field.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because you can AI anything these days, and it looks so freaking real.
Right. Yep. Yeah. No, AI is, I didn't have, with my freelance work that I do, last month I had nothing. Because everybody's turning to AI for their content. So, I mean, now we're going to have the field turn into that as well.
Sad to say. It really is. I mean, and I fear, us veterans, us old schoolers and things, the new generation coming in, it seems to be all technology. No common sense with technology. You got to rely on common sense too. Yep. You can't forget about that. And I think we kind of Skynet. Yeah. Hell yes. Yes. And it's crazy that it's coming to something like that. Yep. And I think it's a matter of time before it hits the paranormal community. Yeah. And it already has in certain aspects, but it's crazy.
Like you said, you have all these people wanting to be the next latest and greatest show. But what they don't realize is that A, they're hurting the field, and it's showing that they're not authentic paranormal researchers. And B, the producers know. The producers of this show know what people are doing. They think that a lot of, and all the shows and stuff that I've worked with, every time I've had to talk to a producer or someone who works behind the scenes on the show, they have a paranormal researcher on the team. So they know what they're looking for in, what they want for people to be on TV. They know when things are being faked. They know when, you still have to do things for entertainment purposes on the show, but they know which teams are reputable and which ones aren't for the most part.
For the most part. Yeah, for the most part. And a lot of it is what you perceive, what you take away from it, of course. Yeah. Just use that common sense. Keep up the good fight. I mean, this is something that has been battled since back in the day. Yep. It's a question that remains unanswered. And I don't know if it's ever going to be answered, but it's sure as hell fun trying to get the answer.
Yeah. Really and that's, I think, the problem with the field is it's fun.
Yeah.
And, you need to do something that you enjoy doing, but people need to view this as it's not all fun and games.
Right. There's a time to be serious. There's a time to play. There's a time, work hard, play hard, that kind of thing. Yep.
And it's all fine and dandy if people want to do this on a part-time basis, or just to go to haunted locations. But I don't really want to say they need to step aside, but they need to kind of let the researchers do their own thing.
Sure.
Just kind of like when Tesla was getting started, the drama that he went through, and he just focused and did his own thing.
He went his own path. Yeah. Him and Edison, a lot of drama with those two. Yeah. A lot of drama. And they went their own separate paths and developed different things. But just think if those two could have worked together.
Oh, I know.
What we would have.
Yep.
I mean.
Yeah. Or it's like even in the computer field. I mean, you had Gates and Jobs. They started off together and they were friends. I mean, could you imagine where we'd be technology-wise if the two had stuck together?
Yeah. It would be unexplainable.
Mm-hmm.
It would be absolutely insane because
Mm-hmm.
of those two great minds together.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's so much knowledge in this field that's on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't want to talk to a researcher, you know, there's plenty of articles and blogs and all kinds of things, not
Mm-hmm.
just YouTube where you
Yep.
can go and learn. There's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, real things with words.
Yep. And the other thing too is what people need to do is because when I do a search, I don't, I look for the sites that have .edu, .org at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go for the ones that say .com or, I mean, yeah, I write a blog and I'm glad people read it. Thank you. But I get my research from the reputable sites.
Yeah.
And if you do enough research, you'll find, especially if you find UK publications, they actually do a lot of, and they publish it like we should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
the magazine publications we have here. That's what the Real Paranormal magazine was supposed to be like. And it was from the UK and I was one of their writers, and they wanted more of a scientific type journal, not just share your experiences and promote your team. It was, they wanted an actual, full blown article,
Mm-hmm.
with research behind it and graphs.
Peer reviewed, make these
Yep.
things.
Yeah. And I had a blast doing that, but all the magazines here in America, they're doing great promoting, paranormal research and researchers and haunted locations. But that's what it is. It's, what's your favorite haunted location? What was your experience? When did you
All
do
the same.
this? And it's all promotion. It's nothing scientific. And I truly, it's a shame that publication, they just couldn't continue. They didn't have the staff to do it.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what's sad. Is a good thing was coming out of that,
Yep.
raising the awareness, and
Mhm.
it's understaffed.
Right. Yeah.
Yet you
So
have all this
it's-
crap.
Right. Yep.
that
And
they
that's why
have.
I do this show. And that's why we started Ghosted, because we saw so many unreliable videos and information on YouTube that we wanted to get from our experiences what we thought was, the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've learned to take a lot of these things with a grain of salt, and
Mhm.
and publications are few and far between.
Mhm.
Really, you have to watch what you read these days.
Right.
It's just everything is so accessible now.
Mhm. Yep. You mean just because it's on the internet, it's not true?
That's what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yep.
And that's what's sad is, again, common sense is going to be right next to the aspirin in the pharmacy aisle soon.
Mhm.
They're
I
gonna be
hope so.
selling it, bottle it, and
It
sell
needs to be one of those that the government provides for free, just like the COVID shots.
free common sense capsules.
Brent says, if they knew how tedious it is analyzing hundreds of hours of audio, it would seriously limit the field. Forget the technology and analyze the recorders.
Bingo.
And Brent, that was one of my biggest complaints, because I knew someone who openly admitted to me on an investigation, I don't know why I bring my recorder with, because I never listened to it.
Oh my.
And I'm just like, you're right. Why do you bring your recorder with?
Wow.
It's like, why go through the audio? The government doesn't have common sense. How can they give it away?
That's right, Lee. No, but that's a good point. If you're not going to bring it, don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bring it. Don't
Right.
lug it around. If you don't know how to use it, learn or keep it at home. And
Or why buy one? Why spend the money?
Yes.
It's like she brought it with just because it was what she was supposed to do.
Wow. Yeah, you don't go out and spend $400 on an electromagnetic field recorder or a meter, a tri-field or something, and not know how to use it.
Right.
That just doesn't seem like it makes sense.
Mm-mm. Yep.
It's not about getting it
so
to
many
have
people
it.
are doing that nowadays.
Yeah,
it's
they're
like
collecting equipment.
Right. They'll use the SLS camera, but they won't record. I know in some instances you can't record depending on what device you're using with the SLS, but they don't record it. So it's just, you only know what's happening because you're standing there.
Yeah.
And, it's like, if you're going to do something, even have a camera behind you recording it. I spent almost a year analyzing. Yeah. Yeah, he did Nevada State Prison. He had 18 recorders. They did 3 nights at 6 hours each.
Jeez. That's
You-
a lot of audio.
Yeah.
That's
You
good.
want to talk about equipment? Brent has a lot of interesting pieces. I know he's gotten rid of a lot that he doesn't use or has, deemed not worthy.
Not worthy, yes.
Yeah.
Failed the test.
He goes in equipped with cameras and audio recorders, and and here I just go, I have my dowsing rods and my video camera.
I don't know. I have limited. I try to respect all facets of the paranormal, not just audio, but video, photography, all of it. But it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm more drawn to audio, EVP, which I feel is dying.
Yes.
I really do feel it's dying. ITC is starting to take over. With the ghost boxes and things of that nature, these phantom boxes they're making, phasma boxes. It's insane. These things that talk to you, and what come out of them is it's pretty interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I know Jeff Fent. I don't know if that name sounds familiar, but he does a lot of the spirit boxes. But he takes he'll build them from scratch and with wood, or he'll get like old radios and gut them out and turn them into the spirit box. But he also includes pieces of material from haunted locations.
Ooh.
So like if he's like if someone has a haunted barn and they're renovating it or tearing it down, he'll go in and he'll ask for the wood.
Interesting.
So then he'll use that wood in his spirit boxes.
What a great idea.
Yeah. Someone brought one on an investigation that we did at the museum that we did a special event for the museum to raise money for them. And it was big, but yeah, she brought it with, and it was, you didn't have the that you get from the spirit box. It was just, clear as can be. And
wow.
it was amazing. They're not cheap. I'm trying to save up for one.
Yeah.
He'll custom make it to whatever you want it to be.
Those Dan Class has one, and I narrate a show called The Ghost Finders, and there's times I get to see clips, certain times, but he has one of those, and it's so pronounced when it comes out.
Yep.
The words are so clear, and it's amazing how they can construct something like that and how it picks up. It would even say names and things of people that were there on the crew.
Yeah.
But there's no way it would have known that. You couldn't pre-program that kind of thing. So it's interesting how those work.
Right. Yeah. Because it was the same person who introduced me to using fidget spinners, and she had it out when we were doing the fidget spinner, and she had it on, and when it started spinning, you could hear like a laugh.
Really?
Almost like he was having fun spinning the.
Oh wow!
Just a small chuckle.
Yeah,
it was brief and quick, but yeah, it was just a quick giggle, and and then the spinner
validation.
Started spinning.
That's right, Stan. Most humans can't pronounce my name.
And then Brent says most people are used to using AM, FM. Why has no one used weather bands or world bands?
Yep. Why not shortwave? Why not?
Yep.
Is there too much room for air? Is there, so what? Try it. Look at the AM, FM bands. There's a lot of room for air as well. Try it. You never know. That may be the one that they tap into.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much we don't know. And it's like the spirit box. I don't use it on many investigations, but we did use it when we investigated Gold Point because there was no radio signals out there. We did use it when we were inside. Brent was with that one. We were inside a mine shaft. And of course, you're not going to get radio signals underground, as far underground as we were. But other than that, I just use it for events. Because how do you explain to someone, how to do a burst session? They're not going to do it, right? They're not going to know to turn off their recorder and, then play it back. And, how do you explain to, people who want instant satisfaction from coming to an event? You mean I got to sit here all day and not hear anything and then go home and analyze this? People wouldn't go to events if you didn't have like the spirit box or, anything like that.
Yeah. And a lot wouldn't sit through. So it takes a special person to do
Yep.
this, especially the audio portion, because
Yep.
you have to sit there and not only record, get your
Mhm.
content, but you have to analyze it,
Yeah.
which takes a long time.
No, it's instant. I mean, I can't just run it through the computer and it tell me where.
And he says an old ghost arc that sweeps long wave frequencies. Interesting.
I've never heard of that.
No, me neither. And that's the world of ITC, and I wish that the two worlds of ITC and EVP would collide, but they can't, because they're both so different things, so different in many ways, but yet the same concept. It's all communication. It should fall under communication.
Yeah.
So I just wish those two communities. I would love to work with somebody that's an ITC specialist and would want to work on collaborating the two. That'd be a lot of fun.
Right. Yep.
To try and get some kind of normalcy with this. It'd be kind of fun to work with somebody on a project like that, because there's questions on both sides.
Yeah, I wish I could remember his name, but I'll have to get it for you, but he was on Ghost Ed a couple months ago, and he specializes in ITC, and he actually has boxes all over his house.
Oh, nice.
But he also does a combination of remote viewing almost, where he does the ITC trying to connect with spirits of another location with the assistance of a psychic. So I know he's combining it with that aspect.
Interesting. I remember when ITC was basically known, the old television sets. You remember the old ones that you had to flip the dial?
Yeah.
You had to manually turn it. The ones when we grew up, they used to watch those static on there, and it would create images and so forth. And I would always think, okay, that's pareidolia. That's your mind's playing tricks on you. And so, but then seeing a few of these things at some of these locations where they look like a person that used to live there.
Right.
Now that's interesting. That's strange. And I don't see how a person can manifest that in their mind. But
True. Yeah, my son, he has he collects a whole bunch of different things, but he was collecting for a while. They're like the old TV sets, the portable ones. And they're not like, the ones with the DVD players or anything like, but this one is like, it was almost like an emergency one that had to have been back in the 80s, or I'm not even sure, but it was the antenna, but then it also had a weather radio attached to it. And the screens are only like about this big.
Yeah, they're tiny.
But because there's, really no TV airways anymore, very few compared to what they used to be, I want to take those on an investigation and just put a camera on it. And
because everything's went digital.
Yeah, just let the static do its thing and see what comes of it. I just haven't had a chance to do that.
And that's a great experiment to try, because they used to use it back in the day, and then it seems like, and they were getting results with it. But it seems like people drop that and move on to something else.
Yeah.
I'll date myself, like the old analog recorders, the cassette recorders. We've got a lot of evidence on those. People dropped them. I know they're hard to find and bulky and not USB compatible.
Yeah.
But they're interesting. I mean,
you can't find tapes for them anymore.
No, it's tough. You got to hit eBay, or Amazon has them, but they're expensive. And it's not something you can just flip over and reuse. You can't do that. So it is a little more expensive, but the clarity of those compared to a digital recorder, it's just good to have that kind of validation. Let's say you're using a spirit box and you're recording the session while you're asking questions. You may get a completely different answer than you would on the spirit box, on the recorder. It just, who knows? So I think the two go hand in hand. Combine them, use them, experiment with them.
Yep. Yeah. There's so many different things we could be using together, and we don't. And that's where, I know Brent had mentioned earlier, and I think you had too, it's the egos. It's no one wants to work together anymore. I mean, that was the biggest problem we had in Vegas. It's working with other teams. It's, they just don't want to share locations. And, again, like you said, how can we confirm or deny that there's paranormal activity there if only one team goes in and that's all that's allowed in the location?
Yeah, that's a monopoly. That's not right.
Nope. And I truly think that the ones that do that don't want people to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Because they've either faked evidence or,
I would agree.
Yeah.
Which has happened. They have been caught with fishing line and things at certain locations.
Mm-hmm.
They've been caught using those kinds of things. You just have to use common sense.
Yeah.
If you're watching a movie, you don't go out and play that movie play by play after you watch it. You don't live it in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So don't live what you see on television in real life. Know that that's kind of reality TV.
Right. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Because there's some shows that I know that when they first got started, they would trespass. And once they got the TV show, they went to the owners and begged forgiveness. And was like, if you sign this release saying you gave us permission to come to the location when we film this, your location will be on TV.
Wow. Come on with that.
Yeah. And that's, this was all when I would say 10, 15 years ago when things started. And now they're popular shows.
Why is everybody getting so sucked into television? Is what I don't get. I mean, there's a lot of better things we can do in this field than get on television. We need to sit down and rethink a lot of these things we've done in the past instead of creating new ones and so forth and getting to the next damn subscription channel. Exactly. I mean, it's
and it takes away from the field.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It truly takes away from the field because we're so focused on dealing with the drama that we're not researching.
Right.
And I don't deal with the drama, but I still waste time having to block people, remove comments, and I'm not one to restrict what people say on my page. But first of all, you're not going to start an argument. You're not going to tell everyone they're stupid. It's if you get out of hand, yes, you're going to get removed.
Yeah. And these things, a lot of our posts and things can cause a lot of controversy because this field is controversial. I mean, it's going to have a lot of what people, some people still don't get it.
Right.
And I was one of them. I was a skeptic. I didn't get it. But then you click in like a seatbelt and you have your own personal experiences. You can't forget them. And you want to share them with the world, but they won't believe you.
Right.
So it's tough. You have to keep those within.
Yeah.
And then try your best to explain them, document them. Yeah, documentation's key in this field. The research itself, getting out there and doing the legwork. I think that to me, that was one of the funnest parts of the investigation, was doing the legwork, doing the interviews with the client, doing these kinds of things. The little things, those are what made it important.
Yep.
And just losing sight of it because of, well, that's not how they did it on so-and-so show.
I hear that all the time on investigations. It's like, oh.
Like, are you kidding me? I mean, well, of course. Did you see anything happen with that's not how they did it? Nothing happened.
Yeah. Or my favorite is when you go to a residential and then they ask you, where's your film crew?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's like, well, we saw you on such and such a show. It's like, film crew doesn't follow me around everywhere I go.
Where's your film crew?
It's like, oh my God, really, guys? It's like, because they were hoping to be on TV themselves. And it's like, it doesn't happen that way.
And you may have a lot. They look for that kind of free weekend entertainment. You got to be careful of clients. You really got to sit down and interview them. You've got to dissect what's going on in there. Yes. Get personal with them. What kind of meds are you on? What you have to, because they could be hallucinating. You don't know.
Yep.
And you've really got to just just take that step. And it's not that you're being invasive or rude or anything like that with them. You're trying to get down to the meat of what they're saying,
Yeah.
what they're seeing and experiencing. So
Yeah.
you got to get a little personal.
Yeah, and it's all, I'm all for helping people who need help, but I've now reached out to, I have a network of people I know that do residentials, but I've kind of stepped back from that because you can't really do experiments on a residential. You can't really, yes, you can collect data and help the client out, but you really can't conduct experiments because, you want to be focused on helping the client.
Right. You can't pull up and haul out a huge Jacob's ladder.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And so it's one of those things where I prefer doing, public investigations just to help gather evidence, just researching, on my own. Like not this weekend, but next weekend, we're going to be going to the, it's a mansion, a Gamble Plantation.
Ooh.
Here in Florida. It's the only fully operational, not fully operational, but it's the only standing and functioning antebellum plantation left in Florida. So they have the original well that was there. All the slave homes are still standing.
Whoa.
And everything is still, which is hard in Florida because of the hurricanes. But everything is still there. And we're just going to go and, tour it. But if we find a quiet location, I'm sure we'll do a quick, EVP session or, but it's more to go test different photographic methods that I have.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. And you just can't do stuff like that on a client's home.
No.
And it's like, I can't, you pull out dowsing rods and they look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah. What the hell are those?
I know.
They're UFO calling rods.
Right. But if you practice with the dowsing rods enough, you can also detect EMF energy, just like an EMF reader. The closer you get to, outlets, they start to move.
They're amazing.
Just like when they were used for water. It's amazing how they work.
Yeah, my nephew just did that. He was looking for a water main and used dowsing rods to find his water main so he could get his pole barn built.
Yep.
And he used it and found water. It found the whole thing. It's all, it was pretty neat how it all worked out.
Yeah.
Those things are powerful, more powerful than what people think they are.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they're about as genuine as you can get, because for personal use anyway, because somebody watching you is going to, you're moving them. No.
Yeah.
You get that all the time, but for a fact that you're sitting there and you're not moving them and they are doing their thing. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. We have one, I need to I keep looking at the audio, but my husband thinks I moved a little bit, but I don't think I did one of those because I was there, but we were doing a quick photo shoot because I needed some photos for promotion material. So we went to this gorgeous little, it cracks me up that it's next door to an elementary school. But it's this gorgeous little small cemetery with tombstones dating back to late 1700s, early 1800s.
Whoa.
And it's just this in the middle of nowhere next to the school. And we were, did some quick photos. And I pulled out the dowsing rods because they wanted photos with me holding the dowsing rods. And just, for shits and giggles, I was like, hey, if you're here with us, can you make these cross? And all of a sudden they start crossing. Yeah. And I turn around and I'm like, they're crossing. And I get this huge smile on my face. Luckily, they captured the photo of me smiling like that. It's one of the best photos I've ever taken. But we reviewed the video that we had with it. And I could be moving a little bit, but I'm not quite sure. Because I'm kind of turned a little bit where my back's to the camera.
That could be just a small percentage.
Right. But I was like, I got this huge grin on my face, but I didn't really want to investigate because that wasn't our purpose for being there. But it was just one of those things. I have the dowsing rods out. I'm just going to ask if someone's here.
That's pretty cool.
It was interesting. I was like, I got so excited.
Those things are wicked. And Sherry loves them. She loves using them. And they have the ones now that you put in your hand and they have the little swivel things on them where they don't, you can't move them.
Yeah, mine are upstairs, but have her check out Doodlebug Dowsing.
Doodlebug Dowsing?
Doodlebug Dowsing. They're here in Florida, and they make customized dowsing rods. And what they do is they use beads as the method, and the bar sits inside the beads, so they move smoothly, and you just hold on to the beads. I like them because they work great and they're customized. So I have a pink pair.
Oh, they have pink?
They have pink. They have skull beads. They have, they have an NFL line where you can get the colors of your favorite NFL team. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'll get a Colts set and she can get a pink set. That sounds perfect.
Yeah. So they do amazing work and they're great. They're great.
Doodlebug dowsing.
And they're affordable. I think their prices are anywhere from $14 to $19 a set, depending on which one you get.
That's not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. No.
That's not bad at all. I mean, sure, you can make your own out of coat hangers, but these are balanced. These are set to where they you can't move in your hand. I like that.
Yeah, and they're a local company. So, I mean, they're based here in Florida. I met them through my friend who does Indian River hauntings.
Get the sack. We'll call demons. Holy.
No, go Pack, go Bears.
Go Coles. Go all of them. They all work hard out there. They get paid for it, though.
I know. But yeah, no, have her check that out. That's pretty cool. I really like them. Yeah, and they do wholesale too. So I'm hoping down the road that I can purchase some and start selling them when I do events.
That's pretty cool. Definitely going to check them out.
Yeah.
And if they do team sets, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
The custom work, I like that, because it's just more personal.
Yeah.
With them.
Yeah.
Get a little case for them, all kinds of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and they're fun and they work. So I use them on every investigation.
Because I like using old school things like that, like analog, digital recorders. Some of the older cameras. I still have an interest for those because, well, we haven't figured it out yet. So I just kind of, and I like working with. I miss working with film. Yeah. Even infrared film. That's a pain in the butt, but it's still it's something.
Yeah, I do miss because I majored in photography when I first started going to college, and my associates is in photojournalism. So I truly do miss the developing the film too, and to be able to watch it appear.
Yes,
in the chemicals. Yeah, I just absolutely love that. I miss that.
Yeah, and those are just things you don't see anymore. You just don't take your film to the photo mat anymore.
Right. Yeah.
It's just everything is done by online, or you don't even have to leave your house anymore these days. It's
I used to be a manager for Ritz Camera, and I remember when things started switching to digital, and our store was one of the few stores that had a digital scanner and the capability of printing from a memory card.
Wow.
Yeah. And I even said, this is going to be the beginning to the end of our jobs. It was.
That dates us so bad, Heather. But it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And they're gone. The jobs are gone.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you believe we've gone 2 hours?
Holy cow. I don't doubt it. It's always fun talking to you. Always a good time.
It is. And thank you for filling in today. Super, super excited that we had the show today. And I hope everyone, including you, has a great 4th of July. And if you're watching.
And of course, this time is when she goes out, folks. This is when it happens. This is the beauty of theirs, Heather.
I'm like giving the goodbye speech and I'm like, and I froze. I'm like, so I guess I'm done. But thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget, next week I will be taking the week off, and but I will have news from the Metaphysical Fair when I return on, I think it's the 18th. But 2 weeks from today, I'll have Jeff Schlachter on to talk about some ITC and photo and video analyzing as well. So thank you again, Todd, for joining me today.
My pleasure.
And you guys all enjoy your.
Have a great 4th, everyone.
Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.